Welcome to the Finding the Magic podcast, where books come alive. I'm Tricia Copeland, a fiction author and host of this show. If you love books, finding great reads, and hearing about the story behind the story directly from the authors, this is the place for you. Whether you like fantasy, science fiction, dystopian, or romance titles, I think you'll find something to love in my playlist. Listen in to discover something magical about a book or two today. Welcome, Caramel.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. I am good. Today is awesome today because in Orlando it's really, really hot outside. So I'm really feeling good out now. It's time for me to go outside. I didn't like the cold too much, so here we go.
Well, you're making me really jealous because it's a high of 12 here. So that's not,
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
it's okay. Today we have Caramel Lucas. I have been on her podcast, so I'm super excited to have you on my podcast. We have a couple things to talk about. You have a book, In Love with the Other Man, which I love the premise of, so I can't wait to dive in. And then you have a new podcast. So jump in and tell us about the book first.
Well, regarding the book, I wrote the book in 2013. Um, that's when I wrote the book, but I really didn't want to bring it out until 2017. And I don't know why, maybe because I was kind of scared because sometimes when you write things and you don't know if how people are going to accept it. And I'm big on rejection. So I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna say no. But as you grow, like people's not gonna like everything that you write. So I decided to go ahead and release it. But the book is mainly about four best friends. Each one of them have a different personality, of course. So we have Keisha, who's like a real estate agent. She's like the hot and mighty. She says whatever she wants to say. She's a boss. We also have Denise. Denise is the homemaker. She wants everybody to be like peace. Hey, we love each other, however. And then we have Tanya. Tanya is the youngest of the group, and she has a 5-year-old. And she is more ratchet than all the other ones. She do whatever it is because she is the youngest. She's like 25, so she's out there doing whatever it is possible. And then we have Liz. Liz is a mom with three. She has a husband, but she's living mentally in a relationship that she shouldn't be in, but she's trying to keep it there for the kids. You know, the reason why I wrote this is because I have seen so many things growing up in my life, and I have seen so many relationships, and so I decided to break them down in different scenarios, how each one of them is going to pursue life, basically,
Yeah, I
you know.
love that. And how are they connected? Like, how do they know each other?
So when it came down to it, it was Denise and Keisha was really, really good friends, right? So they went out one night, and Keisha and Denise went out because Denise is married too. She's married with this guy named Eric, and he's always gone. So, Keisha comes over and, just spend time with Denise while he's gone. And so they bond really close to their best friends. And so they decided to go out, and then that's when they met uh Tanya. And Tanya, they was like, oh, she wow. And she wow, she's doing everything. So they just kind of joined themselves to Tanya, and they met Liz at a grocery store actually with the kids. And they was like, oh, you got adorable kids. And they just started talking. So they all connected in that way. So they didn't know that it was going to click as as much as they are, and they clicked so well that they just became friends forever. Like they was like, we're besties. This is for us, and that's it. So that's how they met.
That's really
Hmm.
neat. I love stories of like interwoven lives and but
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's really how we can connect with people of different walks of life and how we can support each other. And maybe no one journey is the correct journey, and so
Right.
I'm getting all those vibes.
Right, exactly. So in reality, we all have our lives, right? And we all in our lives is all different, and so for example, for Denise's life, right, her life is different from any other life, right? She has no kids. Her husband Eric is always gone. But she want kids, but it's hard for her to have kids. So I feel like people can relate to that, because the ones that do want kids, and I put it in a scenario of what she did down the line, to have kids, but how he accepted that I love my wife no matter what. If she don't have kids, she's no lesser than any other woman that has kids, you know. And so it was a scenario of how this man loved this woman so much that he would do anything for her, regardless of the fact of her wanting kids or not. He loved her regardless. So that was a big one for me, because I think a lot of women, they think that sometimes I feel like they think that they're lesser than a woman because they can't produce. And that's not the case. The case is that you will find someone that will love you for who you are. And you don't have to be, you don't have to have kids for someone to love you. It's okay. And, I know, it was a scenario, this girl, she was like telling me that she can't have kids. And then the guy left her and said, well, I need a real
Oh.
woman that can have kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then that's not good, because it shows you what type of man that is. So that's why I wrote Denise, because I want other women to see that it's okay. You're going to find a man that's going to love you for who you are, right? The reason why I wrote Keisha is because Keisha is a boss. Hello. Okay. She's a boss lady, right? She's a real estate agent. She's a top near, like she's up there in the world. Lived by herself. She's been heartbroken before, and she would not talk to another guy ever until she drilled him down from 81, right? But with Keisha, it's a lot of women that's by themselves, and they feel like they need a man, but in reality, you don't need a man. Sometimes you might want that companionship, right? But sometimes it's okay to be alone, to have that mental, you don't have to worry about extra, you know what I mean? So that's why I wrote Keisha, to say that you can be a boss and still do your thing. And but she met this guy named Robert, so she was like, "Ooh," So he was like, she fell over heels for him, but it's just the way he treated her with respect, and showed her that you can be alone, but it's okay to be loved. And so that's what Robert did for her. So it was like women can relate to that as well, because women out here just like that, right? So, and then it's Liz. Liz is married to the guy named Frank. She have 3 kids, and Frank is a player. And the thing with that, their marriage was great. The 3 kids, their son Xavier, he's older, and then she has 2 little girls, Denisha and Moesha. And so Xavier will start seeing the things that his dad was doing to his mom. And he started like rebelling against his dad because he feels like he should respect his mom, basically. And it's a lot of kids that see stuff like that, right? And so one day he told his Mom, we don't need dad. I could be the man of the house, you know?
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
sad when you hear things like that because I mean, you
right,
don't want your kid
right.
to feel responsible and at the same time, you're realizing that your kid is like so much more intuitive maybe than you realize too.
Exactly. And then that's a thing too. Kids, people don't know. Well, they do know. Some do, some don't. But they look at everything. Everything that you do, the kids are always looking. They might not be looking, but they're listening. And so whatever you do, you have to be mindful of what you do around your kids, because they can pick it up at any time, right? So that's how Xavier was picking it up, because he kept hearing his mom cry.
Aw.
And that's when he said no more, no more. But Frank would never stop doing what he does, because that's him. He just want to be out there in the world, you know, until something happens. Woo, 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 woo. I would say this part, but until Liz met a younger man. That's all I'm gonna
Oh,
say. Okay.
that's some juicy stuff there.
Exactly. She met another man, a younger man. She was out with the girls, and it went off from there. Hello, you know. And
Plot
then
twist.
and then Tanya, wild, do anything with everybody, anybody. She has a 5-year-old daughter, and she leaves her daughter with her mom, and we call her mom Mama B. So she leaves it with Mama B, leaves her baby with Mama B all the time. And she has no, she's like, here's the baby. I'm going out. And she stays out and do whatever. She's just wild. And it was a moment that broke her. And she realized that she has to step up to be a mom at that point.
Oh, neat. Well, I can't wait to dive into that book and learn more. Like all the things that happen to these women. It sounds so amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And everybody says, is that your personality? I'm like, no.
The 4 different personalities that are there.
Yeah, so that's how it all went down. So I mean, and I think it's like a life kind of thing for me, even though it's erotic, but it's more like, if you read it, you can relate to it.
Right. And at least you'll be able
Mhm.
to relate to one character, or even like a situation
Right,
of one of the characters.
right, right. And then that's what I want. I want people to read and say, hey, I can relate to this character. I've been through this, you know what I mean? Or I know a friend that been through this before. And you know what I mean? So that's what I wanted. I wanted people to relate to it more than anything.
I love
Mhm.
that. I love the premise of that. So that's super good. Where can we find the book? If it's the name of the book is In Love with the Other Man, and I guess we don't
Mhm.
want to give away why it's called that, so we'll just save that. But where can we find the book? I think it's under
Um,
Francina Lucas is the author name, correct?
right. It's under Francina, Miss Caramel Lucas,
Okay.
right? It's under that, and at first I wasn't gonna put it under there, but I decided to this go ahead because I do want them to know that I know how to write, right? But but the book is on Amazon, it's on Barnes and Nobles, it's in the libraries. You can just ask for it and get it. So it's mostly in all bookstores.
Awesome,
Hmm.
fun. And I think I on your website I saw that there's a feature film too. So if you're into
Yeah,
that,
I
you could
decided
find
to
that
do
on.
something right. I decided to do something little just to see could I do it. You know what I mean? Just to see. I was just playing around with it a little bit, just to see if I could produce it and produce something that's real life about it. And I think the characters that I picked did an amazing job. You know what I mean? But I want to maybe revamp it again just so it can be better than it was before. When I don't know. And then everybody's asking me for a second part. So they want me to break them down. So they want me to break them down to like only Liz, and then only Tanya, then only, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking about breaking each character down so you can actually live their life every day, you know?
Right. So I guess if you were going to do a movie, like it would have to be sort of like Love Actually or Valentine's Day. Like you're seeing these different characters and these
Mhm.
different plots and they interweave somehow, right? And that's hard
Right,
to write
right,
as a movie or a screenplay.
right. So you have to do it that way because, I don't know. I'm gonna tell you, like, writing a movie is hard. It's hard. It's not as easy as people think it is, right? Because we stayed up for hours and hours and hours at a time just trying to get everything together. And then I had to get the right people for the right person. And it was really hard. I was like, I didn't know it was this hard.
Yeah, I took a screenwriting course earlier. Well, I say earlier this year, but now it was a year ago now. And I
Yeah.
was trying to adapt one of my books, and it turned out completely, not completely different, but pretty different from
Right.
even the novel. And that was me writing it as the author, right? So if
Right.
you, I mean, people say, "Oh, why did this end up so different than the book?" This is why, because it's really hard.
It is. It is. It is. You expect it to be just like the book, right? And then when you start writing and start, getting the producing and directing and all this stuff, it's nothing going to be nothing like the book at all. Because you can be like, oh my God. Like I
It's
thought it was going to be directly like it, but no.
it's so hard because you can't have all these side stories and side plots, and you can't look at all
Mhm.
the different characters. I mean, it's just too
Mhm.
much for one piece, right? One film
Yes,
or one movie.
yes, yes. just too much. It's just it's a lot. So you really have to spend time and take time to just do all that. Because and that's one thing with it exhausted me though. I was like, oh my God,
I can
like
imagine.
am I I'm like, am I ready to do another book? You know what I mean? Because it's exhausting. It's really exhausting. Like, well, it's really exhausting. It's just like, are you ready to do another one? Or because you have to be in the mindset of want to write another book. It's not like, okay, let me just do the next book, right? And see what happens. But it's just like you have to be mentally ready to write a book.
Right. I get so emotionally involved with my characters. They're like
Mhm.
they're like my literal best friends. I mean, if I do something in my plot line to hurt my characters, I'm going to be crying. So it like
Mhm.
emotionally exhausts me to write books. A lot if they're like heavy subject matter, or even my fantasy books that you have to put them in peril every other chapter, right?
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I get emotionally exhausted and I get to the point where like I can't do anything else bad to these characters.
Right. That's why I say I was like, oh my God, I know he cheated on her, but I don't even want nobody to know what else happened through this whole thing. But it's just life. I think I have to be really mental. Then once I start writing, I don't want to stop. And then I just I never so I was like, I have to be mentally ready for this. But the movie turned out pretty okay. I think it turned out fine, but I wanted to be better. So, maybe if I get a little bit more funding and
Okay.
and and revamp it again, then I will.
I was gonna say, yeah, they're really expensive to produce too. So
Hello.
I,
Hello.
I
Yes.
yeah, I did an audiobook. I can't even imagine what a film is. So
Yes. I have to find different locations. I have to make sure that people give me donations for different locations. I had to have permission if I can go into certain parks and certain things, you know what I mean? So it was a lot.
I can imagine.
It was a lot.
Super, super
But
fun though. Yeah, so go to caramellucas.com, right? Is that correct?
what for
Your
Cameron Lucas
website?
dot oh yeah, CameronLucas.net.
.net. Okay, yeah, to
Yeah.
find the book, to find the film,
Yeah.
and your podcast. You have a new podcast?
Well, I have my podcast, Keeping It Real with Camera, but I just got a real studio. I
Oh,
just got a studio, so they're working on it right now, and my studio will be finished by the end of February. And so I call my studio the Purple Table. And so you know how the red table, so there's all the gossip be on the red table. So I call it the purple table only because purple is my favorite color. So and butterflies. So it's a butterfly purple table. And so we're gonna sit there and I'm gonna have, different entrepreneurs come in, if they're in Orlando or if they're in the surrounding areas, so just come into the studio and we can have a real discussion, live discussion.
oh, neat.
Mhm.
That's so wonderful. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna have like a little hors d'oeuvres in there, and so they can, yeah, just try to dap it up for them a little bit. But yeah, I'm excited about it because I didn't even think I was gonna. I was like searching for a nice studio, and then it came to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. You know,
Yeah, this must be supposed to be.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I was surprised. I was like, huh? But okay, I'll take it. So yeah,
Well, I
so
have
I'm
to say,
excited
I'm
about it.
getting Boss Lady Keisha vibes from you. So,
Maybe Keisha was me. No. But yeah, that's what a lot of people say. A lot of people say you have a little bit of Denise and a little bit of Keisha in you. I was like, you know,
definitely the entrepreneurial spirit.
yeah, I think that we should have that, right? I think that if anybody is trying to do something in their lives and if they love it, they should push forward to being the best that they can be. Just like you are author, you're a podcaster, and I think that you're doing well. I love talking to you because we always have a good time when we
I
talk.
know. We
But
do.
right. And at the same time, we both are pushing to be the best we can be. We try to be successful in anything that we do, right? I think that's for anybody.
It was
We
interesting.
have
I was on an author call the other day and they were like, I always try to make my work 5% better than,
mhm.
than the last book or than somebody else's work. And I never thought about it like in like such succinct terms or defined it. I was just trying to make, but I'm adopting that. I'm like at least 5%
Right.
better every time.
You always got to be better than every time that you do something, right? That's how I believe in, right? And you put your
Definitely.
100% in, 110% in whatever you do, because you never know who's watching you. You never know who's like, I like her. I like the way she worked. You never know. And so that's why you put everything into what you got going on.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
been my experience when you've had me on your podcast. I'm like, I love this woman.
And I love you too, boo.
Yeah, I want more. I want more. So, and it's great that you are supporting your local entrepreneurs and business people.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, the only reason why I do it is because there's a lot of great people here in Orlando, and they're doing a lot of things, but it's not being seen as much. And I think that this is a time for them to see what Orlando can offer. It's so much talent here, like in Orlando, Florida, period. It's a lot of talent, and everybody's focused on the celebrity talents. And it's so many local talents here and entrepreneurs that, to me, they could be better than the celebrities, because they have so much talent, but they're not having that opportunity for people to see what they can offer.
Right. I guess, yeah, if you think about it, there's so much noise about the Disney parks and everything else about Florida, right? Like all those
Mhm.
small entrepreneurs can get lost in that noise.
Right. You get lost in that because everybody's coming out for what? Disney. They're coming out to see Epic. They're doing all this other stuff, but they're like, so what about the entrepreneurs that's out there doing something? And they need a chance. I believe they need a chance, even though, nobody is seeing them, but they need to be seen. I think they need to be seen,
Right.
you know?
I love Florida. My grandparents, well, my mom grew up in St. Pete, and I spent like almost every summer down in St. Pete at the beach, and we would go to Orlando all the time. But my uncle owned a pharmacy, and just pharmacist owning like
Yeah.
a pharmacy is so rare now, and but you get like such great service, and you go in there and the people know you, and those types of
Mhm.
things mean, I mean, to me, they mean more than I go into Walgreens and somebody's like number one or number two or you're next.
Yeah. They're like, it's just so funny. They're so friendly too, right? So, like you said, it's just like, I don't know. When I moved here in Florida, I was like, because I was in Connecticut, and I decided first I moved to Jacksonville, right? And Jacksonville was okay. I like Jacksonville, but some said go to Orlando and see what they offer. And then I've been in Orlando here for like almost 8 years now, and I love every bit of Orlando. It's nothing that I don't love about Orlando. I love the weather, of course. You know, I'm so glad that I'm not into that the coldness. I can't do it anymore. But I love the weather and I love the people.
That's amazing. I'm so
Yeah.
excited to have you here, and I hope you'll come back next time you have a new book, new film, new podcast. Tell
Yes.
everyone where we can find you and your books.
Awesome. So you can find me on Instagram. It's at Miss Caramel Lucas. TikTok is Caramel Lucas. Let me spell it for you because some people spell it wrong. So it's Caramel Lucas, Lucas. You can find my book on any book platform. You can find my podcast on any digital platform as well, but soon be live. And you can also go to my website, it's caramellucas.net. And yeah, just follow me. Just Google me. That's how you say it. Just Google me. No.
Definitely. Well, thank you for bringing the inspiration and I guess, connection too. So that's what I
Yes,
feel from you.
yes. Thank you for having me. Like I said, every time I talk to you, you have been amazing, and I love talking to you. You just like my bestie from a long distance.
Yeah,
Hello.
same, same. I love it. Well, thank you, and I'll see you next time.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Finding the Magic podcast. I'm your host, author and podcaster Tricia Copeland, and I love getting behind the scenes. If you like the podcast, make sure to subscribe and stop in each week to discover new authors and books. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep finding the magic.